Digital Foundry recently posted a video talking about the PS5 versus the Xbox Series X and why the PS5 outperforms the Xbox Series X despite the Xbox supposedly being more powerful on paper. They get into this and they elaborate quite a bit on why this is happening, and it reveals a lot of interesting information as far as what's going on with the architecture and how Sony managed to develop a much better platform for developers as they make games for console and PC. Before we jump into all of this, guys, if you could do me a huge favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and share the video to keep this community growing. Let's talk about what Digital Foundry had to say. John Linneman mentioned hearing from developers that the shader compiler and the API itself are faster on the PlayStation 5's side of things, and this is obviously going to impact how developers approach game development. He goes on to say that one of the big ones that we've heard referenced multiple times now is the shader compiler on the PS5 side is just extremely fast and optimized. It gets pretty complex, but it makes better use of the actual silicon in a way that allows the PS5 to speedier performance. That seems to be a huge thing. So right off the bat, we know that when the specs originally came out for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, there was a lot of people believing that the Xbox Series X was going to have this big runaway advantage. And as we've seen within the last, 4 years, that really has not been the case. And that PlayStation is actually getting better ports, better experiences across the board. I mean, there are some instances that may not be the exact situation, but vast majority of the time, the PlayStation 5 is getting the better experience. And they say that this is because their shader compiler on the PS5 is just fast and optimized. And that would make a massive difference. They go on to say that obviously Microsoft wouldn't be sleeping on that. They are clearly putting in the work on that, but so is Sony, and developers just seem to prefer Sony's implementation for this. Along those same lines, the PS5's main API also seems to be quite faster than what Microsoft's doing with DirectX. So another situation where Sony is just doing it better. And a lot of people like to argue about, console wars and stuff like this, but we're talking about facts here. We're not talking about opinions in this case, where we are seeing the advantage on the PS5 side and the fact that developers are preferring the PS5's main API. And it's just a matter of a fact that this is the situation. So when we look at the PlayStation 5 versus the Xbox Series X, as far as performance on multi-plat games goes, we now understand or have better understanding of why the PlayStation 5 games are performing better in most cases. And to be clear, this doesn't mean that, Xbox is not doing well or their way their console works is not good enough. That's not what the message is here today. It's just that the PlayStation 5 is the better platform. It is the better platform for developers. It is the platform that performs better. And at the end of the day, that's all we're talking about here, because they do say at the same time that the Xbox Series X does provide a smoother and more stable experience at times, but the differences between the two consoles are relatively minor in most games. So it's not a situation where the difference is night and day, but more so when you look at the details and layers that the games are performing better on PS5. And to be honest, you're probably not going to realize it unless you had stats up for it or you're comparing these things side by side. And at the end of the day, that's really the truth of it. But also the truth of it is that the PlayStation 5 performs better, runs games better, and it's more enjoyable to develop for as far as developers' opinions go and their experiences go. And that ultimately answers the question, right? Now we have our answer for which is the better console as far as hardware goes, as far as API goes. And the answer is PlayStation 5. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of all this new information, or somewhat new information that we've got here. As always, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you did not enjoy the video, hit the dislike button. Subscribe if you're new, and share the video to keep this community growing. I thank you all for watching. Take care.